Hey mates, and welcome to Blindformers. I'm your host Blind Prime, and for today I'm going to be teaching you verbally, step by step, how to transform Transformers Studio Series 86, the movie, Hook and Longhaul. Now, they're the Commander class that was just popped up into people's mailboxes if you pre-ordered it, and should be arriving on the stores that carry it in the near future, in a couple of months, maybe right now. Shrug. I'm not sure. Nobody knows anymore when it comes to the release dates on products and when they're going to get to the shelves. Nobody can tell you. The only release dates that are confirmed and sturdy are the video games and movies, because the theaters have to know when to release the movie in the theaters, and the video game companies force you to stand in line and wait. But they're the only ones. I wish the toy collecting community and the toy collecting companies like Hasbro and Mattel were a bit more finicky about release dates, and they were really stringent about keeping that date together. But this is the world we live in, when you can receive something that's released on October 5th on July 21st. Woo! The future is weird. The future is so weird sometimes. So, without further ado, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. We're going to get into these Transformers, not this Transformer. I'm so used to doing one at a time that a box that had two of them is just messing me up. I should be better at this, I swear. Okay, but which one to do first? That's the question. So here at Blindformers, we do verbal instructions, so that you don't need to look at the instruction manual, and you need to have vision in order to follow along and transform with us. And now that I'm talking to you, I'm realizing I should start with Hook. I want to start with Hook, so we're going to start with Hook, and we're going to slide Longhaul and his trailer off over here. They should be out of the way now. Let's go. No, you're not going to be out of the way. Your trailer's just so massive. There we go. Okay, so Hook here is a pretty nice little transformer. You can, if you want, during the transformation, to take off the hook. I'm actually just going to take off the hook because it's just it's big, it's long, it's hassle, it gets in the way. I wish I could take off the hook with grapple whenever I'm transforming him, but oh well. All right. So next step in this transformation process is going to be pretty simple. We're just going to take these, feel on the side of your figure, you'll find there's a front wheel and there are two back wheels. And then in between, there is a siege port. Grab that thing that the siege port is in and rotate that, because that's his forearm, rotate it down. All right, and we're going to flip around here to the other side. We're going to find the other siege port, and we're going to rotate that one down. Now that we've done that, we're going to wiggle. We're going to wiggle a bit. We got to wiggle it. We're just going to wiggle it. Okay, all right, it's wiggled, it's perfect, good. Okay, next step is we're going to reach under here, around the hands, and we're going to grab his toes, okay? So if you feel on the underside, you'll find there's the front of the vehicle, and then if you drag your hand back underneath it, there are these two little areas that stick out, and each of them is like a little trapezoid, and they each are the toes, the feet. So we're just going to pull each of those up and out. There we go. Perfectly done. Next step, we're going to come over here to this crane arm thing that has these two the bumpers on the back that actually have a little hinge and move up and down. They're going to move now too. We're going to take it and we got to disconnect it from the wheels, because this entire assembly that the crane fits on is actually connected to these double wheels in the back. So we're just going to unclip it. There it goes. And now that it's unclipped, it's kind of wiggly and wobbly, and that's exactly what we want. We want to come over here to the double arms, the double wheels, and we're going to try and wiggle the double wheels out. There it goes. Double wheel is out and pulled down. So when we wiggle the double wheels out, we're just going to pull them down and see when they're out and in the vehicle mode, there's this space around the head in there, because you can see the head in there now. You want to pull that down so that the shoulders are lined up with the head, and then you're going to come to this bit in the back, this little wobbly thing, and we're going to move that downwards, but not until we come down here and we finish with the feet. Okay, so now we're going to come down here and we're going to finish with these feet. This is a weird part of the transformation, but it's not too bad. So grab the front of the vehicle mode and your thumb on the front bumper, and then middle finger and ring finger on either side of this little bar behind there. And now we're just going to grab it and we're going to wiggle it. Okay, we don't want to wiggle it too much and disconnect it from Devastator's head. We're just trying to wiggle it a bit to get it to slide down, and it never wants to do it. So let's go ahead and see. Now that we've gotten it a little bit of wiggle, we can actually try and disconnect it. There it goes. Disconnected. Nice. Okay, now that we wiggled it so that we could get some disconnection going on, so that we could break the connections to the Devastator head behind it, which is just a big old boxy thing. Now that we wiggled it, we had enough space to actually disconnect the legs from each other, and now we can take one of these fronts, and this is actually stiff. It's stiff, but what you're doing here is you're going to rotate the front of the vehicle up, so the rotation point is at the bumper. So it's going to arch forward with the point of the arch being the bumper, and then the back area. Now you've done it all the way up. Next step is you're going to grab that and pull, as we're pulling a bar hinge that's inside downwards, so that we're actually getting some length on this leg with a cleverly hidden bar hinge. Now we're going to take and break the bottom of the foot off from the back of the leg, and then that's going to actually close up. And that's not the back of the leg, that's the front of the leg. And that's kind of cool. Next step, we're going to do the same process here on this side. So we're going to pick this thing up. We're going to grab it behind, between where the cab is and the Devastator head. We're going to rotate it upwards so that the bumper is now facing towards the ground. And then we're going to grab the entire bit and we're going to pull it. So you're going to grab it around the bumper area and you're going to pull the bumper area up while with your thumb pushing forwards. And that's going to cause the leg to extend out. And now you can take the foot assembly, break the foot assembly. So we're disconnecting the foot from the leg part. And now we're going to fold all that in, and the foot connects and the legs connect. And that is legs for hook. Next step. Now that we've cleared away the path back here, we can take this big old crane assembly bit and we're going to shove that down so that the bumpers, the big old wide bumpers on either side, actually become his shoulder pauldrons. And that is really cool. All right, there we go. Next step, come over around here to the front areas. Those two siege port things we unclipped earlier, and pull the hands out of them. There we go. Hand number one, hand number two, and there we go. Clamps down, locked in place. Nice. Now, usually you have to spin the head so that the face is facing forwards, but I forgot to spin the head so the face is facing backwards last time I transformed him. Next, grab the gun from the crane arm, and we're going to give him his weapon. So we're going to just give you your weapon right here, mate. And next step, the crane itself is going to then plug into the same spot as before, if I can find it. There it is. Now, this allows him to, hey, come on, plug in. There it goes. Now we can rotate this upwards, and then we can, that's a shame. Okay, so we can't do that, and we'll talk about that on the video tomorrow, where we do the review for Hook. So that is Hook in his robot mode. All right, long haul. Yeah, I get it. You've been wanting. Wow, the trailer stayed connected. That's really cool. Let's see if I can purposely do that. Let's see. We're just gonna drive the truck off the side. Nice. The trailer's still connected. I didn't. That's a good connection. Let's drive it up the Wii Fit board. There we go. Yeah. It still is connected. That's a good connection. That's a good connection right there. Okay, let's get this guy transformed. Okay, go ahead and disconnect the back. So pull his legs apart just a bit. This bucket area has that gap in the middle. You can just kind of pull it apart just a little bit, and that's going to allow the connection point for the trailer to kind of just fall out. Now, this is a negative on the trailer that I've recently discovered. There's no kickstand for it. So, once you disconnect the trailer from long haul, it's just going to kind of sit there and be a bump on the log. So we're going to set the trailer, which, by the way, before I forget, I figured out how to put the wings on the side. There is a rectangular peg sitting above the front wheel, the only wheel on the trailer. You'll find it is big, it's huge, it's rectangular, it's just right there in the open. Now, feel on the back of one of these wings. You'll find there is a big rectangular hole close to the edge of the wing that actually plugs into the core of his chest core thing. And that rectangular hole fits there. But you do have to make sure that the part of the wing that plugs in to the center crest is facing forwards, where Longhaul would plug in, and the back of the wing that plugs into Bone Crusher or Scavenger is on the reverse. And the wings have to be sloped down, with the longest pointy bit on the tip of the wing pointed up towards the sky. That should help you figure it out. It took me a bit to figure that out with the wings. And then, of course, you plug the fists into those top two siege ports. And then, of course, you can plug the crest into the siege port in the fist. And that's how I've kept everything together. I'm quite proud of myself for that. Okay, though Longhaul's gun is also a part of that mess. So let me see if I can find your gun, Longhaul. Where did your gun go? Oh, great. Longhaul, what did you do with your weapon? I don't know what I did with Longhaul's gun, but we'll just move on. Okay, so Longhaul, your gun isn't currently attached to you. Oh, right. I put it on Bone Crusher. It's okay. I remember now. Now let's get to the transformation. So for Longhaul, it's a simpler transformation, but it's a lot different. The transformation for Hook, when it came to Combiner Wars Hook, very similar transformations there. Very similar. There's not much different between the two transformations. Now, I will say that the transformation to get into Hook is a lot better than what I remember from the Combiner Wars version. That is without a doubt, for sure. This Hook is better than Combiner Wars Hook. The transformation was awesome. Now, when it comes to Longhaul here, in Combiner Wars, Longhaul had a big empty bucket, and his legs were like underneath here that you had to figure out how to fold out. And then there was those just horrible ratchets with Devastator's hips that were also kind of shoved into here, making Longhaul like twice the size of everybody else, and just a super thick boy. This one is more screen accurate to Longhaul, from what I understand. So let's go ahead and start that transformation now. Go ahead and grab his bucket and pull his bucket back. That is the easiest part of this transformation. The bucket goes all the way back, bends at the knees, and becomes his legs. Next step, come down here to where his feet are, and you're going to rotate out his foot pads to make his heels. There we go. Yeah, because Longhaul is an epic heel. Now, next step is we're going to come over here to the wheels at the front, and we're going to wiggle them. Wiggle the wheels. Wiggle the wheels. Because we're trying to get that entire arm assembly out of there. Wiggle the wheel. Wiggle the wheel. Wiggle the arm assembly. There we go. And the wheel and its little arm bit come out. Look at that. Elbows. Yeah, that's so nice. Next step is when you pull these guys out, there's actually this bar hinge that connects the front of the arm to the upper arm. And we're going to rotate that upwards, and it's going to snap in place. It's not a heavy snap, but it's a snap nonetheless. Next up, come around here. We're going to do the same thing. Bring that up and snap that in place. Not a hard snap, but it's a decent snap. Next, rotate out both of the hands. There we go. Both of the hands are rotated out of their moorings. And now we're going to do the fun part where we actually kind of pull this arm out. There we go. We got to make sure both of these arms are pulled out all the way, because the next step is something akin to what you would find with side swipe, where the actually more or less with Hound. It's actually very similar to Hound, what we're about to do. So next step is you're going to come over here to his back, this little bit of the bucket that folds over, that sits on top of the cab, and that little smokestack. We're going to actually fold that bucket up, and then that entire assembly is going to fold down, and then the bucket's going to fold back up. Or you could just leave it down if you want. You can just leave it like that if you want. Now that those things are done, come around here to the front, pull on his front of the dumps truck mode. And by the way, they put, and I'm bringing this up right now because I couldn't figure out when to bring it up before, and I should have brought it up yesterday, but I just learned about it because I was experimenting last night getting ready for today's video. There is engine texture sculpted into this. And this is an entire engine that somebody has sculpted in to Longhaul. It's like a hidden little secret. And in vehicle mode, this is the hood, so it folds down, and little figures can actually get in there and mess with the engine. And that was so cool. I'm sorry, when I discovered that, I was blown away by that. I'm like, wow, thank you, Evan. That's really fun. So now we're going to just take this entire front of the truck, and we're going to bend it down 90 degrees So it's going to just go forwards. It's not really going to click into place too much, but the head for long haul is going to pop out. And now we can fold up that chest piece and hide the engine assembly that's inside. And I just love the fact that they thought to sculpt that in. It's like whenever you take off MPO1's mask and you see the smiley face underneath. It's a big surprise. You're like, what? There's a smiley face? All right, and I'm just making sure I've gotten everything correct. And that little backpack thing, you can either fold it up so that it fits, more snug and looks more like a rolled up bag on his back, or you can stretch it out and it just will fall down a bit. But there is the transformation for long haul, and let me see if I can get his gun from. There it is. All right, we got his gun. And by the way, when you get his gun, it needs to be assembled. So it comes in 2 pieces, and you just have to plug them together to assemble Longhaul's weapon. Now we're going to plug Longhaul's gun in. There we go. Look at that. That's a Longhaul transformed, and that's a Hook transformed. Now, let me explain to you how to transform the trailer real quick. So we're going to pull off the little hands at the top. Okay? And by the way, since I'm talking about this stuff, we do need to bring this up. When you get this hand, I'm going to go ahead and do the thing. Okay, so when you get this in the box, you're going to have a hand and you're going to have an arm assembly, a little like forearm piece for Devastator. And you're going to be wondering, like, there's a peg in there, maybe because there's a peg right here by the thumb. You're like, maybe the hand fits in there and it plugs into that peg. It does not. It doesn't allow for a peg to be facing outwards. What you do here is you notice that these are 5mm ports in the front to be like the missile launchers that Combiner Wars had. Plug the fist into the center one, okay? Then push on the fist towards the hollow section of the forearm, and the entire fist assembly is going to fold around and be a little missile pod. And that's how you assemble that. Okay, now let's get in here to the trailer itself. I'm disconnecting the wings, getting all that stuff disconnected from him. This trailer is kind of the easiest part of this transformation. So find the little tab that allows it to connect to long haul, and then grab that entire section. So wrap your fingers around the edge of that, just the edge, and you can find with your fingertip there is a difference between the plastic of this thing that the joint is connected to, and then there's a difference in the plastic of the legs that are hidden underneath it. So we're just going to grab that and pull it up. It's going to pull up and out. It's going to stretch all the way out like Siege Ultra Magnus's stuff. Next step is we're going to flip it around, and you'll find that there's these 2 little skirts for robot mode, and they're currently plugged into the thighs. So we've got to disconnect that plug, and it never wants to disconnect. It is a difficult plug to get disconnected. Oh my god. There's one. Okay. Now, come on. Come on now. Come on now. Maybe you want to trim these plugs down a bit to make this job a little easier for you. There it goes. Okay, good. I got it without breaking a fingernail. That was the important part. Not breaking a nail trying to do this. Now we're going to rotate the thighs down. Ugh, such a loud click. Now the skirts are going to fold over and hide this inner workings, but I just wanted to mention those are texture too. Like that's texture in there. That was sculpted in. They didn't have to do that. And then I love it whenever you realize, oh wow, this may be a work of love right here because they textured so much. Now just go ahead and fold everything up on that we unfolded before. It's just all going to kind of fold up onto his back, and it's going to act kind of like the dump truck. So it's going to kind of be the missing dump truck dumper thing, whatever that's called. Next step, come over here, bucket. Forgot the word for bucket. Next step, you'll find that there's this little flappy doodle between the front of the wheels, and then there's another little flappy doodle on the other side, and their hinges are in the center of this mode. So when each of these is folded up, they're actually going to combine together and create a connection port. There we go. We've got a connection port, we've got little legs, we've got everything together that we possibly could want to make a Devastator. And I am going to talk in depth about how to combine this stuff together and how to transform him all into Devastator mode when we finish making Devastator. I think it'd just be more fun if we're patient and we hold out for Mixmaster and Scavenger before we actually do the assembly of Devastator on screen. And I'll teach you real quick how to make Longhaul and Hook into their Devastator pieces so that you can know how to do it. And the day we get all the pieces is the first day we'll assemble it. And that way, it's a surprise for all of us, right? Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Now, for transforming him into Devastator mode, go ahead and collapse the hands into Hook, collapse the forearms. Actually, no, these the forearms don't connect in. That's an important different step. Next, rotate, pull up each of these little hinges that are his shoulder pads and rotate his head 180 degrees. That's something I keep forgetting to do, and please don't forget to do that. Next, go ahead and remove that, because we don't need that, but we can take, where's his hand, his little, so his gun has a tiny little peg hole on the side of it, and if you feel on Hook's hook, there is a peg sticking out the side that is very small, very similar to Scavenger's peg and gun combo thing. We just got to make sure we're doing it right. Yeah, we are. There we go. Plugged in. Excellent. We're going to set that off to the side, and let's go ahead and get this guy fully transformed into vehicle mode again, and then we can move from there. So go ahead and collapse the feet down into the back of the legs. We're just doing everything in reverse. I do appreciate that nothing really spins around, because that's just a step we don't have to do. There we go. So that's back in its moorings. Now the next piece of the leg has to fold backwards. Come on, fold backwards. Get back into your home. Get back in your home. Okay. Now, these guys, dude, they are so stiff. It is a pain to work with them sometimes, but you can get it together, and if they just would come together quite nicely. There it goes. There it goes. Okay, cool. Now we got them kind of together, I think. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Squeeze. Whew, these guys are difficult to line up. They never want to line up. There it goes. Oh, finally. We got them lined up. Next, go ahead and collapse those those feet down. Okay, we're going to go ahead and come around here to the back end. Make sure those feet are collapsed down out of the way. Come on, there it goes. There it goes. Excellent, excellent. That's snapped in. Perfect. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Coming around here to the back, we're going to go ahead and pick up this rear chunk and move it forwards so that it's in its vehicle mode area. We're going to pick up both of these arms and move them higher up back to vehicle mode. So we're reversing all the instructions we've done so far. So this time we're just picking those arms up on their bar hinge and moving it so that the top of the back of the wheels is above his head. Now that both of those parts are connected together, we're going to just collapse down this thing. Something's not quite right there. Come on, there it goes. Now it's in place. Now we can collapse all that down, and it's going to lock in place. Excellent. Next up, grab the crane assembly itself, like the little box thing that's on top of the back of the truck that the crane plugs into, and this is going to get picked up and shoved off to the side. It doesn't have much movement, not much movement at all, but it does move a little bit, and that movement allows it to get flush with one of the sides. Next up, come around here to the side, if you feel on the side, you'll find that there is like a curved bit, and then there's a rigid bit, and that's actually a connection port for Devastator. And how we're going to reach that is find the little thing that sticks up that a pilot would get into to control the plane, the crane, not the plane, and then we move it backwards, and you'll find that there's this piece, and you can drag your finger across it, and it's actually going to pick it up. So don't try to grab it with your fingernails. It never works. Just move your finger lightly across it a couple of times, and it's going to pop up just a little bit, and then you can pull it out the rest. It's not a very stiff joint. It's very loose, but then it locks in place and becomes very sturdy. So that's how you do that part. Now we're going to come around here. Wait, before we do, go ahead and collapse down the rear bumper that were the shoulder pads. That's all collapsed in now. His head is hidden pretty well, I think. Yeah. Okay. We've got all that hidden, all that together. I don't like how that head bends, though. I do not like how that head bends, but there's not really much we can do about that, is there? Okay, the front of the vehicle is transformed, the back of the vehicle is transformed. Now we're going to break it in half, and this is the fun part. Okay, so find the head, this little boxy thing. It feels like it's a big old crate in the center. That's actually Devastator's head. We can pick it up and move it. We're going to go ahead and grab the front of the vehicle mode in one hand, and then the back of the vehicle mode in the other, and we're going to break them. We're just going to... There it goes. Each of them is going to pull out slightly from the middle, and then they're going to rotate around. And this is one of my favorite parts of Devastators. This vehicle breaking in half and then rotating around. But now we need to fold up the Devastator head a bit. So it's just this little box. It doesn't take much to unfold it. And now we can go ahead and slide. Use your thumbs to push these bar hinges that the Devastator head is connected to all the way into their moorings as much as you can. And then we're going to squoze that together. There we go. And next step is the Devastator head's going to fold down. And if you've done things right, if you find on the left corner of the Devastator head, underneath it, there are these two little slits that are vertical. If you feel on Hook, there are these two vertical slits that stick up. And if you've done everything right, and this thing on the side is as far away as possible, you're going to just have enough room to plug those things in. And that's going to be your locker. That makes sure that everything else is together. There we go. And that's going to help these two pins that are here, these two rectangular pegs, stay closer together, which will be very, very helpful when we're putting on the crest and stuff. Now rotate his head around, and if you notice, it looks like somebody punched Devastator in the face, and his face collapsed in. So we're going to pick up the pick up the top of his head. It's going to rotate out. Then we're going to pull his face out, and then we're going to rotate that back down, and now we got a Devastator face. And I forgot to mention, over here, we're going to go ahead and pull on this cab. There it goes, for the front of the vehicle, and you'll find there's another tab in there. And that's just going to rotate out. This one can do a lot of rotation. It can do almost 360. It doesn't lock in place until you fold this assembly back down, and it locks in place very well. There we go. Now we got a arm connection on one side, an arm connection on the other, and finally, underneath here, there is one last connection we need to pull out, and it's right here around between his hands. You'll find there is a odd feeling section of the underside of the robot, and this is actually one of the more difficult sections to get at. It never wants to operate, but there it goes. There. It is a little square peg that has some ridges on it that you can pull out from between the double wheels on a hook. Feel between them, and you'll find that there's this piece that you can pull out, and that is a connection port. And there's another connection port on this hand, the very end of it, a small one, and then there's a square hole cut into the underside of one of the feet, and those are the 3 points that this Devastator piece will connect to. So that is this piece, and we're going to set this piece off to the side. And now let's go ahead and work on getting Longhaul into his Devastator mode, and we'll call the video a day. All right. Now, Longhaul, go ahead and collapse his hands into his forearms. All right. Next step is we're going to pull the front of his vehicle mode open. We're going to go ahead and collapse his head in there by pulling everything out as far as it will go. There we go. We're halfway transforming him back into truck mode. And though we don't collapse these arms back down into the underside, that doesn't work anymore. We actually have to just kind of let them hang out outside. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't figured out what to do with the arms. So if you know what to do with Longhaul's arms, please inform me in the comments below. I would love to hear from you on that. Now we've got the front of his mode stretched out like he's about to go back into vehicle mode. We're just going to go ahead and collapse the heels for his feet into his toes. And then each of these legs, that is the bucket, is just going to collapse down and kind of hang there. And then these little arms are just going to kind of hang out on either side of him. And yeah, that's it. That's how you get him into Devastator mode. Now Hook is going to snap on top of this, and this is going to snap onto these legs. So these are the 3 parts of Devastator we get today. And I say, that's looking good. It's looking good. This is actually going to be looking like my favorite combiner. And I think, and don't quote me on this, but I think Leo Kaiser's hips were a similar size to these. So I am very excited to figure out, like, what's going to happen there. And before I let you go today, I have been in touch with Evan, and Evan informed me that that the first engineering prototype toolings, like the tools to make the injection molds, well, I guess the injection mold parts. Anyway, the tooling is done. The first round of tooling is done for Leo Kaiser, and they're going to start making the engineering prototypes shortly. And I was like, wow, that's exciting. So we may get some pictures of engineering prototypes in the next few weeks to months. And that's really cool. It looks like the Leo Kaiser is on track to be delivered on time so far. Cross your fingers. Hope there aren't any hiccups. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. If I had to give a grade to Longhaul and Hook, Hook would get an A+ ranking for one fun transformation. The transformation would get an A+ ranking. It's difficult, it's a little complicated, and it does a lot of things. Longhaul's going to get a B+ for transformation because his transformation's kind of simple, and there's not really much that happens there, especially whenever it comes to making him into the Devastator piece. He does a lot less than Hook does. Hook just flows all over the place and becomes all sorts of things, and Longhaul's just kind of Longhaul. So, B+ for Longhaul, A+ for Hook. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope you have enjoyed it because I have enjoyed making it and I've enjoyed playing with this Devastator. I am so happy that we are getting such a good Devastator, and I can't wait to build him on screen. It's just, it's a good year for Combiner lovers. It's a good year for Combiner lovers. Thank you all so much. Until next time, bye-bye for now.